Welcome to Off Topic with Tim and Matt, our scrappy, pugnacious sports talk show where we always go off topic. Okay, so NHL, the big talk right now is the Stanley Cup Final. Starts June 4th, which I think is a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Repeat from last year. Oilers, Panthers, Canada versus the U.S., Winter Nation against Snowbird Nation. I'm pulling for the Oilers. Why the hell not? What's your take on it?
So baseball's been really good lately. I am going to root for the Oilers just because they are a Canadian team. I really like McDavid. I don't like the Oilers. It's going to be really hard saying go Oilers. At work, me and one of the other guys.
You're a Kings fan because the Kings knock out the Oilers knock out the Kings all the time.
4 years in a row. But my buddy at work, he's a Canadiens fan. So
okay.
You'd like
a Habs fan. Okay,
he's a Habs fan, and we walk by each other like, "Go Canada!" So we just cheered for the Canadian team.
It'd be interesting is Connor McDavid got the overtime winner at the Four Nations Cup.
Yes.
Last year, the knock on him in the playoffs, he had a lot of puck control, but he wasn't getting a lot of shots.
Yeah.
So he'd, on the power play, he'd be in the Panthers' end, he'd be circling around, and he wouldn't be shooting the puck or passing it. So I'm curious about just to watch him play in the playoffs if he's going to be going to the net more.
Yeah.
I think the Oilers can take it. Any team can win, but I think this could be their year, and I'd be really excited for Edmonton if they won.
Well, and you got McDavid and Tkachuk back up against each other here. Like Four Nations Cups was McDavid and Tkachuk.
Yeah. Jeff Skinner was a beer league goalie until this. All of a sudden, he's standing on his head.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I thought Dallas would have put up more of a fight. I really did. And the Canes against Florida.
Maybe Edmonton was just that much better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying
stronger.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas maybe brought everything they could, but the Edmonton was just that much better. I didn't watch a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I'll be watching this series, so I'm really, really excited. So you have something you want to throw at me about hockey?
I do.
What is it? Tell me.
Are we done talking about the playoffs then?
Sure.
I was watching an interview, and the guy said... The guy on the interview, I don't even remember his name. I don't even care.
Okay.
Right? And I wanted to see your take on this unscripted.
Okay.
Right? LeBron James, Alex Ovechkin.
Okay.
Who's had the better career?
Oh, that's an interesting point. That's a really interesting point.
Both have played 20 years.
Yeah.
Both are pinnacles in their sport.
It's a bit of an apples and oranges. I don't know if I could really answer that. I respect them both. LeBron was able to move through free agency, went to different teams. He didn't stay in Cleveland his whole career.
Yeah.
Ovi's got his cup. Ovi is the leading goal scorer all time. LeBron has his championships and his records all time. I would put them almost at a tie. I don't even know.
And which one would you say was a harder mountain to climb? Both play the same number of games each year.
That's really tough. It's really tough to say because both came up as 18-year-olds playing against 20-somethings. Both came up with teams that really weren't that great. It's Ovi had a bit of an advantage because he was a lot of times he was one of the bigger guys on the ice.
Yes.
Whereas LeBron is at 6'9" as a guard, wasn't quite always the biggest guy on the court. But it's a different position play and it's different kind of play. So that's a chicken and egg.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This guy was going off on how Ovechkin, it was a harder mountain to climb because of the sport itself, the physicality of the sport, the speed of the sport, the whole thing.
Well, Ovechkin, the knock on Ovechkin, he's a pure goal scorer. He's not a two-way player.
Yeah.
Defensively, he's terrible.
Yeah.
And that cost them. Whereas LeBron plays both sides of the court.
Yeah.
So you could say he's a little more well-rounded. As far as a better career, I think
they both hit highlights in their career.
They're both going to the Hall of Fame. They're both going to be in the upper echelon of their sports.
Yeah.
I cannot answer that question. It's apples and oranges. I would put 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
Like that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And I think when you talk to athletes who've played hockey, like Jason Kelsey said it best, is that the toughest trophy in professional sports to win is the Stanley Cup. Because it's not one game, it's 7 games.
Yeah.
The physicality of those 7 games.
Yeah.
That's what everybody talks about, is the physicality. Like they're lunatics out there. They're just running each other down.
Yeah.
Hit after hit. I mean, you saw the difference in the Habs versus the Caps this year, the Capitals this year.
Bigger, nastier.
I think the Habs were more skilled. The Capitals were more physical.
Oh, yeah.
And that tilted the ice.
It did. Montreal's problem was two things. Not enough grit and size up front, and just not enough experience. So a lot of guys went into games 1 and 2. They just weren't ready for the new tempo of playoff hockey.
Yeah.
And that, they could have won game 1.
Yeah.
And they just sort of screwed up and left Ovechkin wide open in front of the net. Despite getting pushed around, both games were pretty close. They tied it up. So
now you look at the NBA in the playoffs.
Right.
It gets physical.
It does.
Way more physical than the regular season.
Yeah.
And same with the NHL.
Right.
It gets way more physical. I mean, football is a physical sport, but you only play that team once.
Yeah.
Whereas they're playing best of series in both those sports.
Yeah.
Where the physicality, the tempo, the speed, the skill level gets cranked to 100.
But you're also not counting in something like Champions League, which just wrapped up yesterday. Paris Saint-Germain winning 5-0 against Inter Milan. 5-0 in soccer is like 15-0 in hockey.
Right.
It's insane.
Right. Yeah.
That's an insane
you don't ever
score.
expect that.
No. But Champions League is the top club in Europe. And you play a lot of games on top of your club games.
Yes.
So you play in like the Premiership, and then you got to cross over to France to play Paris Saint-Germain for Champions League qualifying. And there's 3 or 4, 5 countries of teams that you're playing against to get to. So I don't think the NHL, and it's physical and demanding, and it's time zones.
Yeah.
And it's
good point.
Right.
Good point.
I mean, Sir Alex Ferguson, Manchester United, Sir Alex, cemented his legacy with Man U by winning the treble.
Right.
So he took his team with Beckham and those guys, and he won the Premiership, which is just most points in the Premiership League. He won FA, which is a football association. You play against all the other teams in England, and he won that, and then he won Champions League all within 9 days.
Really?
Those 3 things. So he secured the Premiership with most points. They won. They beat whoever it was, Arsenal or whatever it was, to get to win the FA. And then the next week they went down to Spain and they hung out for a few days and sort of decompressed and got into their frame of mind. And then they beat, I think it was Bayern Munich or something, to win Champions League.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was in the span of 9 days, winning those 3. And the only other manager was Busby with Man U to ever do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Champions League is soccer. You play a lot of games in a lot of countries, and then you're qualifying for your team, for the national team to go to Euro, to go to the World Cup. So I don't think the Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy to win. But we say it here in North America, but you got to look at soccer for all the games they have to play. It's crazy.
But we're talking a singular league, whereas soccer, you're talking the crossing of a bunch of leagues in a bunch of different areas.
Yeah.
So I think
again we go apples and oranges.
Soccer being a bigger, different animal.
Yeah.
Than
people
sport.
say the Stanley Cup's the hardest trophy to win. Go ask a football player how easy it was to win the Super Bowl.
Jason Kelsey,
who
did win the Super Bowl,
said
when he looks at it, he thinks it's Stanley Cup. A lot of players.
Jason Kelsey stands up and says, "You know what? Oh yeah, NFL Super Bowl is the hardest one to win because I know." But that's gonna, he's not gonna say that. Yeah. He won't say that. He's gonna say somebody else.
I think the road to the Stanley Cup once you hit the playoffs, is a lot more volatile.
Sure.
than any of the big four. Let's just go with the big four.
That's fair enough.
Soccer is a massive beast.
Yeah.
That you need a roadmap.
What about like car racing, like Le Mans? Well, I watched Gran Turismo yesterday with my wife. Yeah. Oh my God, that is a good movie. Watch Gran Turismo. It's on Netflix. It's so good.
Is it good? Yeah.
Yeah. The Formula One. Here's NASCAR. You can die.
Yeah.
At 500 miles an hour in a souped up ground rocket going in a circle with other ground rockets at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
No one's going to die hopefully, getting elbowed in the face on a basketball court. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like that argument that the Stanley Cup's the hardest one to win. I like it that it's the best trophy.
Yes.
The Stanley Cup's got the best trophy.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah.
I got a picture with me of the Stanley Cup.
I got a picture of me with the Grey Cup.
Do you really?
I do.
Yeah.
I was
when Boston won, beat the Canucks.
Okay.
The year they beat the Canucks, the very Cam Neely, Maple Ridge.
Okay.
My sister had her kids, and she was big in Maple Ridge hockey.
Okay.
And they brought the cup. He brought the cup and did a picture day.
Okay.
And so there's me and my two nephews and Cam Neely.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Cup.
I'm wearing a Kings t-shirt. I'll find this picture. I'll bring it. Wearing a Kings t-shirt. The next year, the Kings won the cup.
Oh.
I brought them the luck.
Oh, there you go.
I brought them the luck.
Okay, I'm going to bring you a crazy story.
Okay.
So podcast, they're talking to Bob Gainey.
Yes.
And they're talking about the 2005 draft. And that was the draft after the the strike.
Yep.
So they had a lottery.
Yes.
And the Habs got to pick 5th. Montreal got to pick 5th.
Okay.
So the person they had on the radar was Benoit Pouliot. He was their number one. And of course the scouting staff, here's your number one, here's your number two. But don't Google it. Don't Google it. So Bob Gainey said we had Benoit Pouliot. We really wanted Benoit Pouliot. He was on our radar. He was our number one guy. Minnesota took him by number 4.
Right.
So we had to go to our second best choice in 2005, Carey Price. He was their second choice at number 5. Carey Price.
They needed a goaltender, though.
Benoit Pouliot had a crappy career.
Yes.
And Carey Price carried a team on his shoulders for 15 straight years.
Yes.
And will get to the Hall of Fame and will have his number retired and will be revered in Montreal despite not winning a Stanley Cup. The only Montreal Canadian ever to get that for not winning a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, because who did they have in goal before him? Because Waugh left in the 90s.
Yeah, well, they went through a few. There was Yaroslav Halak.
Halak, yeah. That's it, yeah.
He got hot.
Yeah.
They had a couple of people. They bounced around, and he was their goalie, and they had Yaroslav Halak.
Yeah.
And he got hot.
Waugh left in the late 90s.
Yeah, we all remember the game. All remember the game, and then everything. That's when Montreal finally imploded in Montreal.
Yeah.
Anyway, then Halak got hot, and he beat the Caps, and he beat the Penguins. Then lost to Philly, something like that. And then they shipped him out, and they kept Carey Price, and everyone freaked out. Why would you do that? And it's like, trust me, he's the guy. And my most telling moment in that playoff run was Halak came off the bench once, and Carey Price went over, sitting there with all his equipment, and fist pumped him and said, "You did a great job."
Yeah.
He just needed to grow up a bit.
Yeah.
You need to grow up a bit. But when the current administration of Montreal now, of course I'm getting off, is now considered the best one they've had since the 70s.
Yeah.
Montreal had terrible player development, did not have any analytics. They had no focus. People are wandering around the front office bragging about all the Stanley Cups they've won. No one done anything in 30 years, and they've completely changed the mindset. So the draft's coming up in June in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And Montreal's got 6 picks in the first 3 rounds, and they need more size and grit up front. So I'm really excited.
I really hope
what they're going to do. Yeah. They still have some good forwards, Joshua Roy, Michael Haig, but they're young, and they don't have a lot of grit. They got Oliver Kapanen is skill, but he's not grit. So they need some more grit up front. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys pick. You don't pick very early.
Well, no,
16.
we go 16, 15, and 16, or 16,
17.
16, 17.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of good players at 16 and 17.
Oh, I agree.
And you have two.
agree,
You got two first rounders.
Yeah.
So you can move two first rounders and one of your second rounders, and you can move up.
Yeah.
Or you can move one of those picks and get a position player, another big center.
Yeah.
So
and we don't pick till 24. So
the draft, I just
Yeah.
draft day is good on draft day, but there's been a zillion players picking in the 4th and 5th round that have had great careers, and
yeah.
that's it. Okay, so that's my big story for hockey.
I gotta agree with you. So I really like Marty St. Louis.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of his, and I really like what he's done there in Montreal.
Yes.
Right, because of 94, 95, I've never been a Habs fan. And
93, we beat you.
93, 94, was it?
93.
Yeah,
1993. That's when we beat you.
Was it 93?
It was 1993. Don't argue with me. It was 1993. I'll tell you.
Oh, that was the last time you won the Cup.
Yeah.
That was the last time Canada won the Cup.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. My son is a huge Leafs fan, lives in Toronto. So, of course, the second the Leafs lost, they of course, the memes on Facebook just come out. So I text him one. And he shot back. And I have to show this to you because it's so awesome. Where is it? Oh, God, please tell me it's... Do I have it? I thought I had. Oh, I guess I must have lost it somehow. I sent him a meme of, Toronto golfing or something like that. And he shoots me back another one that says exactly how many days since 1993 when the Jays won. It was like, awesome. I got that. It's great. Laughing my head off. The trash talk's just too much fun.
It's fun. It's fun. I mean, that's the
it's
thing.
got to be all in good jest.
Yeah.
Because people get mean, but it's,
that's what we're fanatics. We're fans. It's short for fanatics.
It is.
We are. But you got to be good to each other.
You do.
Yeah.
Got to be respectful.
But
Okay. Eventbrite, June 2nd. Tomorrow's June 2nd. June 2nd, eventbrite.ca. Gladiator 8 is my son's Muay Thai fight coming up.
Yep.
You're camping, so you won't be there.
It's the Friday, right?
Yes.
I may be free.
You may be free. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to send you the link.
Please do.
It's in Langley, and Muay Thai. You have to see a live Muay Thai fight one time in your life. It's awesome. The energy in that room, and two people up there, the skill, beating the hell out of each other, blood. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
It gets pretty intense. Okay, like, subscribe, comment, follow us on Facebook on Off Topic with Tim and Matt. We want to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in to Off Topic with Tim and Matt, where we always go
Off Topic.